United, together, here we stand. Sumana, Ashley, Felipe, your workplace wellness hour band, where culture meets health and wisdom takes hold. Fresh perspectives and insights unfold. Building stronger teams, brighter paths ahead. A workplace where passion and purpose are fed. Join us, engage and elevate your game. Wellness that works puts growth in the frame. Works puts growth in the frame. Mental clarity, physical strength, financial insight, tools and strategies that get it right. Real stories, real growth, real change that lasts. Practical guidance that moves you fast. Workplace wellness hour brings substance and spark. Together we flourish, together we make our mark. Building stronger teams, brighter paths ahead. A workplace where passion and purpose are fed. Join us, engage and elevate your game. Wellness that works puts growth in the frame. That works puts growth in the frame. So mark your calendar, answer the call. Workplace wellness, practical magic for all. Sing on! Building stronger teams, brighter paths ahead. A workplace where passion and purpose are fed. Join us, engage and elevate your game. Wellness that works puts growth in the frame. A workplace where passion and purpose are fed. Join us, engage and elevate your game. Wellness that works puts growth in the frame.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Workplace Wellness Hour. It is Monday, March 30th, 2026. And we are here with Sumana and Ashley Fluellen. I'm Felipe Cofiño, and we are your co-hosts for today's episode. And thank you to everyone who's already joined us in the chat. It's already like banging right here. We got William Rochelle already going nuts in the chat. We got Jackie Hallberg visiting. We got Jason Forehand. Jason just had an amazing event yesterday, and this whole past weekend, he's just been going amazingly crazy with all the great work of Transformation Kitchen. If you don't know what that is, go check him out. It's amazing the work he's doing. Kenny, it's always great to see you, my friend. We appreciate you. Leslie Flowers, what can I say? I can't say enough good things about you, my friend. You're always just so supportive of people. You provide great insights, and you provide us with the LinkedIn TV guide, which we really appreciate. And Yolanda, it's so great to see you. It's been a while. And Leanna, it's always great to see you, my friend. Lisa Fevick, doing shows on women's health, on menopause. Go check it out. I think it's called Menophoresis. I apologize if I chopped it up, but check out Lisa's page. And then we have, let's see here. Who else did I miss here? Oh, Charles Caldwell. Charles, I got to say, so much respect for you from always tuning in from Hong Kong. Thank you for being such a great supporter of the show. It's always great to hear you as well. And then who else do we have here? Did I miss? Oh, Jairus Tucker. Thank you for joining us as well. Cooper Gates is in the house. And I think that's it for right now. Let me just make sure because, oh, we have Lagia's here. Thank you for joining us as always. And wow, we've got a lot of people in the chat here. All right. And I think that's it for right now. So listen, today we are going to be talking about microshifting, which is really about how people work and how they work best. And we're going to talk all about that. But I'd be remiss if I didn't share something before we do introductions, that today is someone's last show. And this someone here is someone very valued to the show, very appreciated. And they're doing this because they're focusing on their own wellness to make sure that they don't get burnt out doing too much, which how could we ever not support that? Because everything we talk about that on the show is around supporting that. And we'd be very hypocritical if we didn't support it. But before I announce who it is, I'm sure you're like, who is it? Who is it? Let's do some introductions, and then we can let the person share themselves. So for those of you who I have not met, my name is Felipe Cofiño. I'm a passionate HR executive, founder of Cofiño Consulting, where we provide HR services like recruiting, training, consulting on HR, and auditing. I'm actually getting ready to launch our webpage for Cofiño Consulting. More to come about that. I'm also a LinkedIn top voice, which I'm very proud to have, and don't know how long I'll have it, but I will appreciate it as long as they give it to me. And I am a international best-selling children's book author of Miranda and Max, and I just published the Spanish version of Miranda and Max. It's called Aventuras en el Jardín, La Aventura de Miranda y Max, which is the Adventures of Miranda and Max, Backyard Adventures. Available on Amazon, by the way. So, and if you wouldn't mind, do me a favor. All the stuff that I do, I store on my YouTube page. And so here's the QR code for the YouTube page. I'd love for you to add you as a subscriber if you wish to follow. You can see all the shows that we do about the Workplace Wellness Hour, everything I do about the Careers Chaos and Coaching with Melissa Houston, what I do with the Social Saturday Chat crew on Saturdays, and my Future Ready Voices. And if you want to check out some of the funny cooking videos in there are some funny ones. I will say there's a new cooking video that's going to be coming out because Chase and Forehand and Transformation Kitchen have launched a new cookbook. Go to his page or go to his publisher's page, Nicole Anglai, who also published my book, and you can check out that wonderful book. You can do it through the Amazon link, which is great. But Jason, if you're still listening, I'd love for you to put the other link in there. The Amazon link is for $50 book. But Jason, if you put the other link in there, I appreciate that, because that is actually a $40 link. And it's not just less expensive for you. Transformation Kitchen gets more money from that purchase than they do from the Amazon sales, because Amazon likes to keep more money, of course. That's why Amazon's so big. So, but I promised, they did a challenge of someone doing a recipe from the cookbook, and anyone who knows me knows that I've done a lot of cooking videos, not because I'm a good cook, but because it's entertainment. And so I'm going to try to do one of their recipes. So with that being said, I'm going to put the QR code for Cofiño Consulting. Always appreciate if you follow that page as well. And then I'm going to pass it over to Sumana Jetty to introduce herself, and then we will go on to Ashley and get the show started.
Wonderful. Thank you, Felipe. Welcome, everybody. Really happy to be here. My name is Sumana Jetty. I am with Jetty Wellness. I'm going to start saying that because Jetty Wellness is more than just me. I feel like the way it's been 5 years now, providing evidence-based, science-based strategies to businesses now. And I'm realizing that Jetty Wellness is not just me as a person. As the business grows, I'm learning to trust to allow others to participate in the growth of the business, which I'm really excited about. It's anyways, so I'm with Jetty Wellness. And I am a bit of a nerd. I love science. I love research. I love corporate well-being, student well-being, and I love bringing new ideas to this show. So it's been an exciting journey over the last 4 years now on this show. But also this month, I guess since 2026, we've had really amazing content. So I'm really grateful that you are joining us, week after week, show after show, and excited to dive into microshifting. Again, I bring up a topic. I ask these wonderful humans in this room. I ask Ashley, I ask Felipe, what do you think? And they say, yes, we like it. So I feel like this would be a good conversation to have. And I also just want to say that as we're thinking about microshifting, we'll talk a little bit about that. But as we're going to start thinking about this concept, I want you to maybe consider putting in the chat box whether you think microshifting is an opportunity or a kind of a crisis. Like, do we think this is, or a complexity, I suppose that's a better word. Do we think this would be for the future of work? Do we think microshifting is going to be an opportunity for success? Or do you think it's going to add more complexity to the already very fragile and VUCA workforce? Oh, and we've lost Felipe. He'll be right back. With that, I will pass it over to Ashley to introduce herself, and we'll get started.
Thank you, Sumana. So excited to be here tonight and to talk about this topic. When I was researching it, I was like, oh, this sounds amazing. I'm already on the opportunity side, but we will get into that. Hello, everybody. My name is Ashley Fluellen. I am an artist and the founder of Dear Imperfect Artist, which is an online community helping all of us to create again. Right now, it's in a few different places, but I'm working with collaborators to bring it all together and really turn it into, a beautiful space where we are supporting each other's creations. And I will break the suspense. I am the one who is unfortunately leaving Workplace Wellness Hour. I'm so sad. And Felipe, already kind of introduced it perfectly. Between going into my career as an art teacher, building a brand, being closer to my mom, being here for my family, being in school, my schedule is just crazy. And so I had to be really honest and kind of audit my schedule and, put on my Sumana hat and just think about where I want to put my energy and make sure that I'm not burning myself out by overloading my plate. So today will be my last Workplace Wellness Hour show, but we do have a mini show, possibly in the future, a farewell show that I'm really excited for. And yeah, I guess I'll just say this, that as always, I'm so grateful for this space and for everything that I've gotten to learn from you guys and from being here and having these conversations. And then I'll say more of that at the end of the show. But Felipe, I'll pass over to you before I get too, sappy.
We keep losing Felipe. I am very sad. I know Felipe is sad as well. And but I told Ashley this when I read the message on LinkedIn. I said, I am so proud of you for putting yourself first, for doing that audit. We talk about strategic, creating strategies for your well-being, putting yourself first being one of them, and recognizing when that capacity versus the capability, when which one's maxing out. And we don't want to ever reach a point where both of those, and I've shared this with everybody here, and I think Ashley's been taking notes, but our resources are limited. They're not unlimited. That is the conservation of resources theory from literature. So recognizing when that resource dip is too much, and and we have too many demands and not enough resources, it's a good time to step back. So as much as I am so sad to have this being her last show, I am also so very, very proud of Ashley. I remember meeting her through Meredith Grundy. And when I first met on Zoom with Ashley, maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll talk about this at the end of the show. But all I want to say is Ashley has the voice. Ashley is very creative. I have seen so much growth in just her ability to articulate information, always saying yes to all the changes that we've made here on Workplace Wellness Hour, and just never just, yeah, her positivity. And, every time I talk to her, even on Zoom or our conversation on LinkedIn, Instagram, they've always been so joyful. So I will miss her a lot. And I am going to pass it to Felipe to share a few words, and we'll get the party started to talk about microshifting. This is not microshifting. This is macro major shifting that's happening here in Workplace Wellness Hour with Ashley leaving us.
This is
emotional
a macro
turmoil
shift.
is
You're
what this is.
exactly right.
Felipe, over to you.
All right. I don't know what was happening with my computer, but I was having some serious issues because I could not
I'm not
hear
seeing
you.
Felipe Sumana. Do you see him?
You
No,
hear
he's
me?
here. Yeah,
Oh,
I can hear him. I can see him.
Okay. I'm having issues. Sorry.
Go ahead, Felipe.
I was having issues too. So, but, and I'm sorry that she's not going to hear this, so hopefully she hears it in the replay. But Ashley, it's been such a joy to work with you, and I'm going to miss you so much because you bring such a fresh breath of insight. She is always bringing such a great perspective, not just from her generation, but just from her creative mind. And so, Ashley, if you can hear me, I was saying how much I appreciate your creative mind, not just and your perspective, and not just from a younger generation, but just from your intelligent mindset and how you look at things. But I also do value the perspective that you bring from your generation because you really have represented them so well. And I applaud you for that. And I thank you for bringing so much of that insight into these conversations because we are going to miss that tremendously. So, with that being said, do not say goodbye to Ashley. Just say see you later because she will be back to visit. And we are going to do a farewell for her, as Sumana mentioned. So, more to come about that. And with that, let's get the party started. Let me fix the wonderful LinkedIn algorithms have changed some of the, Restream have changed some of the things. So, there, now you can see the comments clearly. All right. So, with that being said, let's get started with the topic. So, the topic is microshifting. And again, it's something that Sumana caught it again. She's the person that's catching the things that are trending in the workplace. And it's something that, again, we've talked about it before, but they are now putting a name to it. They are putting a lot, and I say they, I mean the workforce. And what it means is that are people being measured by the hours they work or by their outcomes? Are people working when they work best? Or are they working when they have to? And that's where I think is such a huge leadership opportunity for the future of work, for people to think about this and think, hey, if my employee works best in the mornings and I work best in the evenings, what do I care if they're up when I'm up, as long as they're getting the work done? If my employee wants to work a little bit in the morning, take a break to take care of their kids or their pets, and then work the rest of the day in the evening, as long as they're there for the meetings that I need them for, what do I care? And I think that's the mindset that's really hard to swallow because it invokes a lot of change of mindset. And once you accept it, it's easy because I've seen people do it. So I'm going to go through this. Well, I say it fairly quickly, but so here are 5 things I want to bring up. Here are some benefits and pitfalls because we got to think about both sides of it. But the first one is with microshifting, it increases productivity through focused work, meaning that people, when they are able to work when they work best at a time of day they work best, they're more focused. So employees with high energy bursts, they can knock out a big project, take a break for a couple hours, go back and do another energy burst. Or they can do deep focus and really get into their flow state. And there's a better output versus a longer work time period with tons of distractions. Now, the pitfalls of this are that some of the structure can lead to fragmented work or missed priorities. People have to know what the expectations are. So saying clear deliverables, expectations, deadlines, priorities is what you need to do as a leader to be able to do it. But Sumana, Ashley, thoughts on this one here?
Ashley, why don't you go first?
Sure. Yeah. I really love, Felipe, that you listed both the benefits and the pitfalls of this phenomenon, because I do think that it sounds really good. And like I said, I do see it as an opportunity. But of course, we do need to look at the whole kind of complex picture. And just something that I'll add to this is, as I was researching this, I read on Forbes, they had a really great article about it. And they reminded me that the 9 to 5, 8 hour, 9 hour workday is it's a relic of the Industrial Revolution. That is when that schedule kind of came into being. And as work changes, as the nature of work changes, I think that it's important that we change with it. People's lives look very different from the Industrial Revolution, as well as very different from just 6 short years ago during the 2020 COVID pandemic. And so I do think that with this, we need to continue to evolve. And I feel like you really captured it well in this slide, that there is a huge opportunity for us to evolve with our energy and to be flexible, keeping in mind the lives that we have to live outside of it too. So I'll leave it there. Sumana, I'll pass over to you.
Yeah, no, I think this is exactly one of the many things that we can talk about with this. And folks, as you're thinking about microshifting and how we can kind of create those blocks and give autonomy, lack of autonomy for people is one of the biggest drivers, along with workload, when it comes to burnout. So this, just in theory, if I think about it, I'm like, oh, this gives those blocks of work that we can do for our life, for those demands that we have, the priorities and resources that we need to manage, that are not tied to that 9 to 5 block. That immediately gives you autonomy, and through that autonomy, you can start to feel a little bit more productive. And I would love to hear in the comments what we think about this particular concept of productivity, also from the neurodiversity perspective, because some of us are really great morning people, me here, but I sometimes struggle in the afternoons, and then I get a little burst of my energy, after supper, and then I can continue working. But if I'm tied to my 9 to 5, then that afternoon, sink in energy can reduce our productivity. And then I'm just kind of a body. So are we just doing a performative, sit here and do the work type of a situation? Or are we allowing people to have a bit more productivity? And again, in the comments, I would love to hear from people, what is their productive hours? If you want to put that in, do you have an assessment? We have amazing Ashley here who's done her own audit and trying to figure out like what's working for me. Here's all my things that I need to work on. I would love for people to do that audit and know like, what are my peak productive hours? And is that in the morning, the middle of the afternoon, late at night, whatever that may look like. So that's about all I have to say, is that increase in productivity for me from just the theory of burnout is, yeah, it's going to give you a ton of autonomy, and that is going to help us not get sucked into that burnout cycle. So yeah, that's about all I have to say for this one. Let's keep going.
All right. Well, and let me just say this. I think that obviously there's a caveat to all of this. You choose the job that you work for. You choose the industry, you choose the hours. You applied for that job. Don't try to change the industry hours to microshift. What I mean by that is, if you're a cashier, if you're a front desk agent, if you're working construction, microshifting is not really going to work for those kind of industries. And that's something that you have to accept with that, if that's the industry you want to work in, and that's okay. Our thought process is, for the industries that can, why not give them that flexibility? I'm in HR. I need to be in the office and engage with the employees. But do I need to do it 5 days a week? Could I be as effective 3 days a week? So those are the things I want you to think about, because if you have a job like that, some jobs require it. And that's what I want you to realize, is that there's a balance. All right. The second point here is the second benefit of micro shifting is improved employee well-being and reduced burnout. We talk about burnout all the time. When people are able to rest when they need to rest. You just heard Sumana say she works best in the morning, then she needs a little bit of a break, and then she gets another burst. If we get to work and we get that burst of energy, oh my gosh, it's like thank the Lord, I get to do work when I have the energy to do it. If only now a way to relate to that, anyone who's has a parent has had a baby and you wish the freaking baby would sleep when you slept, good luck. It's not going to happen. But in this case here, you have control if you can. And that's where leaders can give you that benefit to help reduce burnout. It builds break-ins. So built-in break-ins allow employees to rest mentally and reduce fatigue. But here's the pitfall, though. It blurs the boundaries that can lead to working all day in places and no real downtime. I'll be honest. I love micro shifting with work, but guess what? I was up until 2 a.m. last night working on my new website. Was that really needed? Could have waited until I was a little bit more awake and alert. Probably. So there is that blurred boundaries where when you have 9 to 5, you can shut off the computer at 5 o'clock, you close the door and you walk away. When you have this micro shifting, you've got to set clear boundaries. So make sure you have that. Sumana, Ashley, thoughts? Or Ashley, you first. Sorry.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, I totally could see this being the case. I'm just thinking about oh man, I'm sorry. I right when you called me, I closed my notes. So let me get them back really quickly. Okay, yes. I'm just thinking about, as Felipe mentioned, parents, and I'm in schools now. And I feel like I actually had a conversation with a parent about this a couple of years ago. And we both agreed that after the pandemic, there was such an opportunity to adapt working to the kind of fluctuating schedules of parents rather than working 9 to 5 and your children get off at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Like, why don't we somehow make it work where parents could be off, go and pick up their kids from school, maybe come back to work later on in the afternoon? And I think that this just fits in that like puzzle piece that her and I were not able to get to in our conversation. And I could totally see how that would lead to greater well-being, reduce burnout, because the truth is that people have lives. Like we are juggling, passion projects, our work, our families, all of these priorities. And rather than, constantly having to juggle and leading to burnout, I just think that it makes more sense to adapt to all of the differences in humanity and create schedules that work for all of us. I'll stop there. Sumana, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm loving this conversation, and I'm loving the chat where people are saying their different peak performance time. Christy, you said 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Someone said, Srinath already. Oh, your name's kind of like my name. You said it's 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. So you all have a different peak performance time. So I'm going to throw some science in here for you because I wanted to do that for myself as I was reading about this particular topic. Now, when we talk about micro shifting, and I love that this deck here about employee well-being and burnout, I want you to remember that, it was in my post actually earlier this week, micro shifting is not the same as flow state, which is strongly associated with peak performance. So flow state is very different. These are the conditions that we need to be able to get that right energy so that we can get into that peak performance. But micro shifting is basically the strategy, right? This is just a strategy that we're saying, if I have micro shifting, I can then go into flow state, which will then allow me to go into peak performance. So there's a link. Think of it as almost like like 3 steps to how we want to approach peak performance. One is more strategy, one is the condition, and one is the outcome of that condition. So flow state is very different. So some of us are saying, yes, my peak performance is at a specific time. And I love that we know that about ourselves. But this topic of how this will improve employee well-being is to allow workplaces to realize that through this strategy of allowing micro shifting, we can get that outcome-based metric versus the performance-based metric, which is what the 9-to-5ers are expected to do. Come to work, stay here for 9 to 5. You're performing, even if you're bored. What I'm saying is that why don't we look at it as more of an outcome based and say, if I could do my job in 6 hours, why do I have to be here for 8 hours? But in my the 6 hours that I'm selecting are going to now give me the best chance of success to get into that flow state so that I may reach that peak performance. So I hope that brings some clarity into some of the research that's out there. The paper that I posted in the chat box was one that I found. There's not a lot of scientific literature except for the one that I just shared on this particular topic, but it kind of makes sense if we think about it as a precursor to flow. I'll stop there and pass it back to Felipe.
No, I love that you mentioned that because I think that was a really good distinction with flow state, and that's important. I do have some stats that I'm going to quiz you on later, so we'll do a little poll after we finish these 5 here. All right. Our next one here. Let's talk greater flexibility equals stronger retention. You want to retain employees. Look, the retention of employees nowadays, the average retention is 2 years. When it used to be 10 to 15 years for our parents. And now I'm not saying that people need to stay in their job 10 to 15 years, but if people want to keep their employees longer than 1 or 2 years, they got to think about the perks, the benefits. And one of them is greater flexibility. So giving them a better manage of family, health, life, it can be very, what do you call it? It can be very evolving, and not evolving. What's the word I'm thinking of? Anyway, basically, depending on the person's time of life, they have different needs. So as we mentioned, as a parent of a young child, you're going to have more needs. Once you're in school, you have more flexibility to work during the day, but you might want to be freer during the afternoon. When they're grown up, you don't need that flexibility. Or before you have kids, you don't need that flexibility. So it's about giving it and being agile enough in the workplace. You want your staff to be agile when they work in your organization. Be agile with their schedule so they can work best. Now, the pitfalls is the perception of inequity. Oh, well, just because they're parents, they get to have some special treatment. No, it's because it's appropriate for their needs. If you have needs as well as a single person, microshifting can work for you too. You may not want it. You may want to be able to get, hey, I want to work my hours, get it straight 9 to 5 and get out of here. That's okay. But microshifting can also be, hey, I work better in the morning. Can I start at 6 a.m. and leave at 2:30? Sure, that works for us if that works for you. So it doesn't have to always be breaking it up. It might be just when you start. So be transparent about the role, obviously, and how much flexibility you can have. And if you can be flexible about start times, leave times, and stuff like that, why not? Ashley, thoughts?
I also have some statistics to go here. Owl Labs found that employees would sacrifice 9% of their salaries for flexible working hours and 8% of their salaries for a 4-day work week. And I'm just going to quote what they said here because I think that it's so powerful and explains it so well. But they say, flexibility has become as valuable as compensation, and for good reason. And I think that this ties in perfectly with greater flexibility equaling stronger retention. The fact that workers would literally give up their compensation, not give up, but I guess like trade or compromise their monetary compensation for, more time spent, I think is really important. And offering or being in workplaces that could offer that greater flexibility. And I think, Felipe, this kind of balance between certain roles might have that flexibility, but if not, there should absolutely be alternatives offered where possible. Maybe that means, more ability to work hybrid or whatever the case is. I don't know. It's not my job to brainstorm this kind of stuff, but I do think that there is a lot of opportunity and potential for workplaces to get creative with how best to balance, the time, compensation, retention, work life, all of these things kind of at the fore, making sure that they are all well balanced and work for everybody involved. Sumana, what do you think?
I'm loving this conversation. Do have a question for the folks who are listening. Um, I love obviously flexibility. We all want flexibility. I think when remote work became popular, hybrid work became popular, and now we're going back almost in time with lots of workplaces wanting employees to come back to the office full time. I don't think micro shifting is something that's going to go away. I think what I'd like to ask people for that from this flexibility standpoint, one of the things that I know that I would love or want with this strategy, not just that flow state and that peak performance, I also want the ability to generate more income. I think ultimately we are in a place where we need to have multiple income streams. So I guess my question in the chat box, if you're willing to share this, and if you feel comfortable, no pressure, is maybe just a yes or no. Tell me how many of us are actually working towards multiple income streams. I can say very much I am. We cannot rely on one thing anymore. We have to do multiple things. And in order to do multiple things, this flexibility is where this strategy becomes effective, not just for the employee, but also for the employer from that productivity standpoint. So are you someone that has multiple income streams? Put that in the chat box. And the other thing that I think we need to keep an eye on in this flexibility model is also that our generation, not our generation, people in the world are getting older. I can say in Canada, the rest of the world, there's a lot of aging population, and there's a lot of us in this space. And actually, you can probably chime in here because I know you've got some additional responsibilities as well, as do I, as do Felipe. We all have caregiving responsibilities. I'm not the sandwich generation. I don't have children, but I know so many of us have the kids to take care of, but also the elderly, the parents, or maybe even grandparents to take care of. So with this reality that caregiving is a big responsibility, and also that we have to have multiple income streams to make our ends meet, this micro shifting and the flexibility that we're asking is, I think it's inevitable that the work from home hybrid model that we're trying to get away from, I think it's going to become more popular, with this almost being a perk that employers will be willing to share with their employees to keep talent. And I would love HR's perspective here from Felipe on what I've shared, and also from Ashley on the caregiving perspective. If you have anything you want to add before we move on, open to that.
Well, I gotta say that on Ashley's comment and about the schedule, I can tell you from stats, I've worked at 2 jobs that unfortunately one was due to the economy, the other was due to funding and a certain administration cutting off funding. We had to reduce our staff at one place, their salary by 10%. We didn't reduce their schedule, but my last place, we reduced people to 60 and 80% schedules, which meant you worked a 3 or a 4-day work week, but your salary was cut by 20% for a 4-day work week and 40% for a 3-day work week. What was surprising was after a couple months, we had close to 50% of the staff said they might be okay with keeping the 4-day work week, not the 3-day work week, but that 20% cut. They found that having that every Friday off or Monday off was extremely valuable to their personal life and their wellness. So I'm glad you brought that up. The other thing I'll say about caregiving is, yeah, it's challenging. I saw you on mic, Ashley. You wanted to share about caregiving?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of bring forward, and my friends and I talk about this all the time, just that, parents, how do I say this? Our parents are older. Our parents had children later in life than past generations. And so because of that, at younger and younger ages, we are kind of having to step into this caregiving role that generations before us might not have even had to think about until much later in life. Um, thankfully for me, my mom is very independent, but just being close to her and making sure that I have that time for her. And if there's anything that she needs, like being able to have a flexible work schedule. For me, it's teaching, which is nice. I'll get summers off. I will be off of work at 2 p.m. every day. Um, it's just valuable. Like it's important family time. And then of course I have friends and peers who have to step into more of an active, I guess to say, caregiving role where they do have to be available to their parents um, at the drop of a hat, like if something were to happen. And so, yeah, I do think that, like I said, there's just so much potential for getting to kind of shift around the bursts of time that you're working. And Felipe brought this up at the top, and I just want to repeat it. But like, of course, we want to make sure that our work is getting done, that our outcomes are being fulfilled. And so long as that is happening, I'm kind of in the camp of why does it matter like what exact hours you're working? Felipe, I'll pass back to you.
Exactly. And I love what Janice just said. Janice just said right here that her clients like working partially remote and partially in office. Everyone has their own. And what does that partially mean? Partially to you might be 2 days at remote, might be 3 days remote, might be 4 days remote. But at the end of the day, it's about being flexible and realizing that it might work for you better as an organization and as an individual. All right. Let Sumana know if you got multiple streams. I know I do. I got my books are one stream, my Cofiño Consulting is another stream, and my W-2 is a third stream. So it definitely is something that I think has become more of a norm, not just for the younger generation, but for the older generation. All right, first quiz question before I go to the next topic. Put in the chat, what percentage of employees, based on Gallup surveys done in 2026, what percentage of employees wish they had more flexible hours? Put a percentage. I'll give you a tip. It's an increment of 5. So you don't have to guess anything. It can be, 30, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, but it's increments of 5. So put your guess in the chat as we go into the next topic here, which is microshifting boosts in creativity and problem solving. Think about this. When people get a chance to rest, you get solutions come to you sometimes. You get ideas come to you. If you give people that ability to take that break, they may take that break because they need to stop thinking about work. But guess what? A solution to a work problem might come to them when they take that break. So the benefit of stepping away from work allows the brain to process ideas subconsciously. That's where breakthroughs happen. The pitfall: too many interruptions can break momentum and kill the deep work cycles. So we have to remember that, yeah, you can be flexible and have lots of stuff happening, but if you don't keep your boundaries strict and protect those focus times, you're not going to be efficient and you're not going to be effective. Ashley?
I love talking about a boost in creativity and problem solving. This is like my wheelhouse.
I figured you would.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. When you take the time to step away, I'm trying to like pull from my brain. I feel like it's like sparking now. But when you take the time to step away, reflect, breakthroughs really do happen. I mean, meditating for, I think it's like 3 minutes a day, like not very much time, but meditating every day actually increases gray matter and plasticity in your brain. And that is time that you are spent just relaxing and doing nothing. And so I completely am like, yes, 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 taking time away, taking time to, move your attention from a problem and then coming back to it with a fresh set of eyes, that will almost always lead to more clarity with what you were working on. So I love this slide. This is my favorite one. Thank you for asking.
Before we go to Sumana, I just want to give people the answer real quick. It was 55% of employees wish they had more flexible work hours. Okay. So I just wanted to share that real quick before we go to Sumana. Sumana, over to you.
I was going to say 65. I think I commented 65. Oh, what am I hearing?
Oops, sorry, my bad. Wait.
Together, here we stand.
I'm trying to get it to stop.
That was a boost of creativity, you guys.
All right, there you go. You're back.
I was about to say 65%, but you said 55 was the answer. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Love that last comment. I want the managers and the leaders in this team. I've been spending a lot of time with leaders and managers. So what I want to add to this sort of creativity conversation from a strategic perspective is what I hear from managers constantly is that nobody wants to be micromanaging their team. They want for you as an employee, as a staff member, to just deliver the outcomes without supervision. They want you to be able to that trust you, that you can just do the job. That's what good managers want. I trust you that you can do the job. So if that's the perspective that they're coming from, then absolutely, if we can give a boost of microshifting for them to get that ownership back, I think this is a win-win. So it's not just a creativity conversation. I think it's also a trust conversation. If a 2-hour break in the middle of the lunch hour, say for example, I take a 2-hour break and I go work out and I come back at 2:30. And I work from 2:30 till 7:30, for example, and that's my work day. But after I come back from my gym and my lunch session, I am way more productive. I'm able to get those creative juices flowing. You can trust that I do the job. Then, just like what Ashley said, trust that I can do the job. We want people, and I've also heard a lot of managers say that one of the key skills of 2026, along with creativity and problem solving, is also adaptability and switching tasks, task switching. So if we can get people to switch tasks, and if that little break helps them to do that task more efficiently, why not? There's so many advantages to just giving them these tools and this strategy and almost give them the opportunity to have more skills under their bucket. A skill of creativity, a skill of problem solving, a skill of adaptability, switching your tasks efficiently. I think this is such a huge advantage, and this will increase trust, which I know is a number one relationship lever that we need to be working on. So if we can get that trust increase, then well-being is there. They may not need me to come do well-being conversations for them. So that's about all I have to say for this one. And does anybody want to join us on stage? Please do pop in, because we have about 10 minutes or so, and we'd love to have a couple speakers here come chat with us about what you're thinking. Any questions that you have to ask us, we are happy to do that as well as we reach number 5 of Felipe's 5.
Yeah, and since this is Ashley's last show, we'll probably go a little bit past the hour. Sumana, could you do me a favor? Could you put the link in the chat for me while I go through number 5?
Yes.
Thank you so much. All right. So, by the way, congratulations to Amy, who got the closest with 60% of that guess. Second little quiz here. Put in the chat, what percentage of people believe they are more productive working in bursts with breaks? I'll give you a hint. It's over 50%. So what percentage of people believe they are more productive working in bursts with breaks, which is what we just talked about? All right. As you put in the chat your guesses of what percentage that is, let's go to number 5 here. Number 5, we have microshifting. It shifts to a results-driven culture, because like someone said, trust is a huge, huge thing. I know I could trust my training director when they worked for me, because they would take breaks in the middle of the day. And I said, that's fine, as long as you get the work done. My CEO one time was like, hey, where's Chris? I was like, oh, he's taking a break. He's like, is he going to be ready for tomorrow? I'm like, yep, he'll be ready for tomorrow. I know he will, because he always delivers. I also knew Chris well enough to know that his downfall was checking the room to make sure that the room was set up with chairs and tables the right way, which was facilities job, but it was his job to inspect it. He wasn't great about that. So I made sure that I reminded him, but I inspected that. But as far as his being ready for the actual presentation, I could guarantee it. So there's so many benefits from organizations moving away from butts and seats to performance, outcomes, and trust. Not saying that the hybrid model we need a hybrid model. I don't think the all-in my opinion, I don't know about Sumana and Ashley, but all remote or all on-site, I don't think that is realistic anymore. I think that hybrid works, whether that's 1 day in the office or 4 days in the office, they're all hybrid. But here's the pitfalls. Leaders who struggle with trust, they're going to have issues. They're going to want to micromanage and over monitor, keystroke monitoring. Who wants that? No one wants to do that. A leader needs to build that trust. When you have that trust, you have a stronger team. So train leaders on managing outcomes, not activity, because being busy doesn't do crap. But providing results move you forward. Ashley, thoughts? Wait. Before I finish, the answer to that question, by the way, of what percentage of people, Mr. Gregory Liverpool is very close. The answer was 68% of people believe they are more productive working in bursts with breaks. And that, again, comes from Gallup in 2026, y'all. More than 50% of the people believe this. So we have proven stats saying that this is actually the case. All right, Ashley, now over to you.
Thanks, Felipe. Yeah, I mean, I think that this shift away from, butts and seats workplaces also offers a lot of opportunity for communication and boundary setting and being really intentional about our availability. And we already have all the tools to make sure that, workplace partnerships or collaborations or just, I guess, the processes that need to move in a workplace won't necessarily be interrupted if somebody needs to step away for a little bit of time. And so I love this. I love thinking about this as a results-driven culture rather than micromanaging or having so much focus and value on just the amount of time spent. I think that this is a more kind of effective way of looking at our work. Sumana, what do you think?
100%. And I will just take it back one more step again for the leaders who are listening. We talk about this in our in multiple policy conversations in government. When I used to work, when we would have to evaluate policies, the number one thing that we ask when we want to shift to something like this, a results-driven culture, is I want you as managers, you as leaders, to ultimately define very clearly what does success look like and how am I measuring this success. This is the data-driven part of my life. I want you to be very, very specific for this to work. There's lots of benefits, obviously, for this to work. There's got to be very specific deliverables, deadlines. What is the quality of the work I'm expecting? What is the feedback that I'm hoping to give you within a certain timeline? Communication becomes a very important pillar. So you have to clearly define before we even do the results. Let's go one step back and define the success of that result. Ask your self that question, and then give your team, what does good look like for me? What are you delivering? If Felipe said to me, Felipe is my boss, he says, "Man, I want you to deliver this one-page strategy report by Wednesday night." That's the expectation, and I know that he's looking for certain elements in that report. I will deliver it by that time. And if there is an opportunity to do a one edit draft between now and Wednesday, and he's indicated that to me, I know what I'm working towards. When ambiguity kicks in, when there's uncertainty in this, we talked about this over the last couple of sessions in the VUCA spaces. When ambiguity kicks in, when there's uncertainty, when there's complexity, this type of what is success look like? How am I measuring success? That goes out the window. The other really cool strategy for measuring success is, I know I work like this. I work in quarters, say Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. A lot of burnout happens in Q2. It's very common. A lot of burnout happens in Q4. In September, that's quite common. But for something like this to work, I think we should even make it tighter. Let's do kind of mini micro sprints, quick deliverables. Let's do weekly check-ins. Let's do a project that can be finished in a short amount of time. That progress over perfection, right? If I'm going to the gym, I'm not lifting 120 pounds on my first day. I'm working towards that, but every win is a win. So for this to work, I think what does success look like needs to be very clear, and creating some kind of a micro sprint deliverable strategy. And this is some of the PMI folks in the team. If you're listening, if there's any project management kind of techniques you want to share, even on stage, I would love to listen. But that's kind of where my mind was going in this data-driven, result-driven culture. So again, there is the link in the chat box. If you want to join us live, we'd love to have a couple of folks pop up here and chat with us as we wrap up this amazing conversation on microshifting.
Well, we have Gregory in the green room. Before
Okay.
Gregory, I just say, as everyone talks about this and all the leaders that are struggling with trust, the key is accountability, y'all. Don't overthink it. Accountability is not a 4-letter word. Accountability is how you keep things fair. And if somebody is taking advantage of that trust, you don't take the benefit away from the entire team. You hold that one individual accountable. And what that does is it sends a message to the individual, but more importantly, it sends a message to all the other people that says, hey, don't abuse this privilege because you could lose it. So with that being said, final thought, microshifting is not about working less. Let's make that really clear. It's not about working less. It's about working smarter, healthier, and with more intention. The question is, are leaders ready to lead this way? If you want to be a leader in the future of work, you better start thinking about it, because otherwise you might end up being a dinosaur. All right. With that being said, let's bring on two of our friendly frequent visitors. And I'm going to hand the microphone to Miss Ashley here, since this is her final show. I'm going to start crying. But Ashley, would you do me the favor? Oh, wait, let me see if I can do this.
I think we should just get Ashley to do all of them.
Yeah, Ashley.
Yes.
So please take the mic over and introduce Gregory and Marcia. And the mic is yours, my friend.
Sure, sounds good. Thanks, y'all. Gregory, the mic is yours. I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, with this topic, which is very, very enlightening and savoricious, in the words of Kenneth, in regards to nature, the main pitfalls and the main stuff is basically, I raised it up in the chat, is you're going to have an increase in terms of mental health services because of people working God knows what type of hours outside of 5 p.m. and stuff, and people will be buzzing other people to get feedback on stuff that they're working in off hour time. And another thing is, I will say, is good thing that you raised the trust issue, because I will say that with people who are very, very neurotypical, and I thank Sumana for raising the neurodiversity aspect, is that we tend to have a lack of trust in regards to both ways, with management and people trusting us because of the fear factor of the person going to mess up the type of mess up the situation for people to enjoy. To
Is it just me, or are we losing Greg?
Yeah, I'm losing him too.
Hey, Gregory, we're kind of losing you here. Do you want to maybe close out and come back in? Oh wait, he's back on a different device.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
All right, go ahead, Gregory.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. That was my watch alarm, basically. No emails. Basically, this is like kind of like my microshifting event of no looking at my emails past 8 o'clock on certain nights and stuff. So that's kind of like one of the microshifting type of events and stuff, because people email me on a lot of stuff, which basically is my quote unquote downtime in regards to looking at anything heavy duty per se. So that's basically what I want to say in a nutshell. And Ashley, I am going to miss you like another sister. So hopefully that we are first link connected on this particular platform. I do not know if we are not. Please connect with me. So thank you.
Absolutely, I will. Yes, I'm gonna miss you too. And Gregory, thank you for this comment. I mean, I think that it's funny. I feel like your comment kind of came full circle. You were talking about how workers are going to need this like increase in mental health services just because of the lack of boundaries that might end up happening when there's some people working on hours, some people are taking that time for themselves. And I mean, to me, and this is where I think it came full circle, I just think that now, if we were to adopt a micro shifting workplace culture, that would just mean greater boundaries, stronger boundaries. And you already have a boundary for yourself of not looking at emails past 8 o'clock. And like I said, we have the tools already in place to kind of help manage some of those, I don't know, friction points. And if that means silencing your notifications, if it means setting your teams to away during the time that you are away and people just having to respect that, I think that there's a lot of opportunity for that in workplaces. Felipe, Sumana, what do you guys think?
I'll just say, Gregory, I totally echo what Ashley said. I think you having those boundaries for that alarm, I loved hearing that, because we need to do more of that, because people are not going to respect our boundaries if we don't hold and respect our own boundaries.
I wish that we could do that for email accounts. For example, here in Canada, and Suma will test to it, .shaw@shaw.ca accounts, or .hotmail accounts, or .gmail accounts per se.
Well, that's a whole leadership issue, I think, because I know that one of the great things, there are some companies that do great about, hey, don't email after hours. But I had one leader that said, look, I like to microshift. I like to work in the evenings. So he put a tagline at the end of every email: I'm emailing this when it's best for me. Respond when it's the best time for you. And he made sure that he's verbally said that, as well as put it in his emails, because he wanted people to know, don't feel like you are obligated to respond immediately. So I think those boundaries are so important. And thank you for sharing, Sumana.
Yes, I was just typing the same exact comment. Thank you, Gregory. Yeah, I think my comment here on the screen, that kind of is what I was going to say. We don't want to burn out. This can't be another precursor to burnout. So I think what we need to figure out is some strategies on sending those emails, using our signature lines, being mindful from the leadership side. What are those collaboration hours? And just trying to ensure that our 8 p.m. emails are not arriving in someone's inbox that is a 6 a.m. person. So use your signature lines and just be mindful of what that is. And yeah, that's about all I have to say for this one. I'll pass it back to Ashley.
Oh, wait, before Ashley introduces Marcia, so I have a really curious question. Is my new nickname Phlox?
Oh, no. Why? Did I say folks? Oh, that's folks.
Oh, that's folks. I don't know if you were like saying my name or what else. I was like,
No, sorry. I just typed folks like that. Folks, hi, folks.
okay, I wasn't sure. I just want to clarify. Ashley, back to you.
Thank you. And Greg, I forgot to say, I will definitely add you on LinkedIn. And thank you for your comment. Marcia, the mic is yours. What do you have to say?
We can't hear you.
Marcia, are you there?
Unmute Marcia.
She's not muted. She muted herself. I don't have her muted though. Marcia, if you can hear us, you might have to leave and come back in, possibly. All right, you could hear us, I think. Something happened. Well, while we're waiting for Marcia to come back, let me give you another stat real quick. Y'all can throw some questions in there about what percentage of employees are more engaged and motivated because of flexible work schedules. Let me know what percentage. Again, what percentage of employees are more engaged and motivated because they have flexible work schedules?
Can I do mine verbally?
No, put it in chat because we're bringing Marcia up. Hold on. All right.
I believe I had to.
There you are. Oh, no. Wait, hold on. Stand by. Can you hear us? Marcia?
Yes.
All right, there you are.
Yeah. My Wi-Fi was psycho. It was bipolar. I mean psycho today. Good evening. I'm be brief. This micro thing, like I put in the chat, I've been probably doing this for years. And Felipe, you know how it was working in the hospitality industry because I had to adjust accordingly. I had to work when I was on the union. I had to work on the nature of the business. So I had to be early sometime. 2 days I worked early, 2 days I worked in the evening. You know, I just had to be flexible. But now, so man, you made a good point about the caregiving thing. So y'all don't know my brother has dementia and his wife is bedridden. So, you know, I talk about my job. It ain't the best job, but it's not the worst job in terms of flexibility. Because sometimes I gotta rock and roll. I'm able to do that. When I have to step away and do that. And like you said, Felipe, I can step away and then I can come back and get the work done. I work hybrid, which is still a blessing. I'm the only one in my department that actually still works hybrid, Felipe, because they know I put in the work. But anyway, it's just been, a lot with that. And I've always at the
Did we lose
S to the
Marcia or was that
hustles.
me?
That's it.
There you are.
It was me. I'm done.
All right. Is everybody here? Ashley, are you here? Did we lose everybody? What's happening?
I'm still here.
I'm
Ashley?
here. I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry
All
about
right.
that.
Let's do the poll. And Marcia, we heard a bit of it. Ashley, any
Yeah.
final thoughts from you? I know we're over time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I heard a bit of what you said, Marcia, and I just wanted to say that I'm glad that your current position offers you the flexibility to be able to care for your brother and his wife. And like you said, I mean, as long as the work is getting done, then no harm, no foul. That's what I think. Felipe, Sumana, what do you guys think?
Marcia, I think the world of you. My heart goes out to you. Taking care of your brother and sister-in-law, it takes a lot. Please make sure you're taking care of yourself. I know you do, but I just want to give you that friendly reminder to keep on making sure you take care of yourself so that you can be there for them. And I echo what Ashley said. It may not be the best workplace, but they allow you the flexibility to be able to take care of those you love. And that's pretty valuable, I gotta say. Before I hand it over to Sumana, I just want to let everyone know that the answer to the quiz is 64%, if it pops up here. And the closest person was Yolanda. So, yeah, 64% of employees actually said that they are more engaged, and they were actually proven through engagement surveys with Gallup. So, all right, back to you, Sumana.
I have nothing else to add. I'll just say what I said in the beginning. This is a nice closing of the loop. Conserve your resources. Know what you can give. Know the difference between capacity and capability. Felipe, you came to our workshop on the 26th. Along with a few other people who are in this room, where we provided that distinction before we spoke to you about feedback. So just know what that means. Know capacity and capability are different things, and conserve your resources, because taking care of parents and caregiving responsibilities is very challenging. Especially for the sandwich generation that has both elements, the top and the bottom, children and elderly to take care of. Now, with that, Ashley, this is your last show. Any final thoughts you have to share with us? How are we feeling? I know you wanted to share a couple things.
Yes, I mean, I'm certainly feeling sad. I love this community. And like I always say, I just love getting to learn from everybody, to learn from you guys, and to have these conversations with you. I told Felipe and Sumana this when I told them that I would have to depart, but I just want to say that being on the show has increased my confidence in speaking so much. And I just owe that to both of you for allowing me to be in these conversations and just, just riff about these important topics. So thank you guys so much for doing this with me and letting me be here with you.
Thank you for spending your time with us and just sharing again your amazing, wonderful insights and perspectives, and watching you grow as an individual. I mean, we've all grown, but watching you grow, it's been such a wonderful privilege to see you just like, I can't think of another word than blossom. I hate the word blossom right now. I don't know why I can't think of, but you shine. You're shining so bright. And why I want you, you already know that you've grown, but do me a favor. Go back to our first show and listen to yourself. Go back to the first show, listen to yourself there, and then listen to this show. You have become such an amazingly eloquent speaker that has confidence, creativity, and concern that just oozes out of you. And I'm proud to know you and call you a friend. And I can't wait to celebrate you. And I can't wait to just have you come back and visit once in a while. And we are still going to meet in person one day. That's still happening. I have no problem going to Vegas, Sumana.
As soon as you folks figure out what's going on in that country and if Canadians are allowed, I'm happy to come.
Oh shit! I don't know when that's gonna happen. We got 2 more years left.
Listen, while you guys were speaking, I had to go look at the DMs Ashley and I have shared on LinkedIn. And my first DM to Ashley was on May 12th, 2023. And I said, "Hi, Ashley. Meredith shared some wonderful things about you. Here's my calendar. I'd love to see how I can help you." That was in May 2023. And I think that fall was when you joined. You joined our community here in Workplace Wellness Hours. So from 2023 to 2026. Oh my God. I know the number, I don't think you were here, Ashley, last week when Felipe disclosed that we have done 88. Is it 88 shows? Felipe, was that the number?
Yep. Yeah, this is our 89th show.
This is our 89th show.
Wow.
I know. I wish you stayed until 100, but that's okay. 89th show.
Come back for the 100th show. How about that?
Come
We'll do
back
that
for the 100th
I would
show.
love to. Yes,
Come
absolutely.
Come back to the 100th show. I'm so pleased to have met you, and I'm so pleased that Meredith introduced you to me, and that you've been part of this. This is a very short, small community, and Felipe and I will have to talk after the show to figure out who the third person is going to be to join us. I know Felipe and I can handle this, but we love having another person as our co-host. It's going to be hard to replace Ashley's creativity and the joy and just her demeanor. I just love learning from her. And yes, you should go back and listen to that first show. And yes, you can speak. And yes, you have a lot to say. And I am just so happy that you have been part of our show for over 2 years, and it's been such an amazing journey. I can't wait to have you back, and I wish you so much luck and best wishes, and we will continue to support you on LinkedIn no matter what. That's it for
Thank
me.
you guys. I'm definitely going to go back and listen to that first show. I'm like, I got nervous when you said it, but I'm curious now. And I do just want to say that this is not a goodbye. This is just a see you later. I'm going to be here as an audience member, continuing to learn from you. And you will see me all over these interwebs once I, get more consistent with it. But this is not goodbye. This is just a see you later.
I love that. That's one of the great things about in the Spanish language. We say hasta luego, which means see you later. It doesn't mean goodbye. And
But I hold on. I just have to say, Felipe, you're not allowed to leave. Okay,
don't
you
worry,
and I are
I'm
stuck.
not going anywhere, and neither are you. You're not allowed to leave either. And by no means is Ashley being replaced, because she is not replaceable. Whoever comes in to fill her shoes has got big shoes to fill, but we are excited to have someone come in and join this team. So with that being said, Ashley, I look forward to celebrating you, like I said before. And as always, thank you to everyone who has joined us here. It's been one of the best shows I think we've had, and it's bittersweet because it's Ashley's last show. But thank you to Jeremy and Gregory and Sandra and Yolanda, and we had Chasen, and we had Nick, and we had Leslie and Jay and Sandra and Amy and Marcia, and everyone. So thank you all so much for joining us. We will be back in 2 weeks for sure. Ashley, one last thing I wanted to tell you. I don't think I ever shared this with you directly. I talked about this with other people, but I don't know if you ever realized, but I talked about my Miranda and Max book. I talked about the Spanish version of Miranda and Max that is published. In case y'all want to buy it, there's a QR code, by the way. But you were actually a big inspiration to me to get my butt moving with the illustrations. When you're talking about your painting and your creativity and the joy it brought you, it was a big part of the inspiration that got me to start doing it again. So I wanted to thank you for that, because I don't think I ever told you that directly. So I really appreciate you, because you inspire people when you don't even realize it.
Oh my goodness, that makes my heart sing. Thank you for telling me that. I didn't know that.
It's
That's
true.
amazing.
And I'm glad I remembered it, because I always tell other people, like, oh my God, Ashley, if you met her, when you talk to her, her energy just is contagious, and you just want to get creative with what you're working on. And it's true. So, all right. Well, before we get this love fest starts crying, let's say so long until in 2 weeks, when Sumana and I will be back. And Ashley, we will announce when we do Ashley's farewell, so you all can join us for that. So please make sure you stay in touch with us. And Sumana, where can people?
Yes.
Any last thoughts or anything you have coming up?
No, I'm okay. I'm sad, but I'm happy, and we will be back in 2 weeks, folks. Every other Monday night, Workplace Wellness Hour continues from September till June, season 4. And yes, we are going to figure out a way to do this in person in season 5. And yes, we're going to do our 100th show. And yes, we're going to get together with Ashley and Felipe. This is all going to happen. I have nothing else to say. Ashley, it is just such a delight. I'm so happy. I'm just happy, and I'm also sad, but also see you later.
And Ashley, where can people find you now that you're not going to be on the show? Obviously, LinkedIn, but where else are you going to be?
Yes, I am on YouTube. Follow Dear Imperfect Artist YouTube channel. I've been making shorts on there, and my collaborators and I, you guys are the first to know, we decided on a release date of August for our official Dear Imperfect Artist interview show. We're calling the event Dear Imperfect August. So you can find me on YouTube. Thank you.
All right, well, put your YouTube handle in the chat so everyone can get it. And obviously, I will.
I already did it.
Oh, perfect. Look, you're so good. You're so damn good. Well,
thank you, Sumana.
And our farewell to Ashley, by the way, will be live video, so you will be able to see her, more importantly, her than us, but you'll be able to see everyone on live video. So stay tuned for that. And with that being said, as far as what I have coming up, I have Social Saturday Chat every Saturday at 12 noon. And then I'll have Careers Cast and Coaching this Sunday. Is actually not going to happen because we are going to observe the Easter holiday and take that week off. But we'll be back 2 weeks after that. And then, of course, I'll be back in 2 weeks with Sumana, as I mentioned earlier. And with that being said, as always, please remember to take care of yourself. Be confident in what you know because you have a lot of experience. Be curious in what you don't know and learn it. Be grateful for what you have because you got more than others. Be compassionate to yourself and be tenacious as hell because you got this. Have a great week, everyone. Good night. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
you
Bye,
later,
Ashley. See you
everybody.
later.
Bye.
Adios.
Unite.